between the 510 northern
Okay.
Spectacular savings are happening now at Mattress Firm's July 4th sale. You can get a Sleepy's Queen mattress for just $89.99, the lowest price ever. Upgrade, save, and celebrate before it's too late. Offer ends Tuesday. In-store only. Also by Restrictions
Everybody hit that like button. Welcome to the show. Let's get it. Hit that like button. Let's go. Let's go. I'm good. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between three terms that a lot of people get confused, and they actually use these three terms interchangeably. And I think there's a huge misunderstanding between three very popular and overused terms, and that is codependency, traumatic bonding, and enmeshment. Unfortunately, pop psychology has become so available to society that I would get a host of emails and consultees that come in, individuals that consult with me, or I'll just talk to a lay person, and, outside of my field, of course, and they will say things like, I think I'm enmeshed, or I think I'm codependent, or I think I'm trauma bonded, and, there's differences between the terms, and I want to make sure that I give you guys that knowledge so you'll be aware of the differences. I think that there's a lot of people who believe that they're codependent when they really are traumatically bonded to somebody instead because of a trauma history. They're not always necessarily codependent or enmeshed. as we put it. So today we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to separate the two, and I'll mention a couple of example stories. So thank you so much for coming back to my channel. For those who are subscribed and for those who are new, I encourage you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here. Stick around with us. You know, I welcome you every week, and actually Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'll welcome you on my videos. If you're new to the community, welcome. I think it's going to be an educational community for you, and if you have ideas for me, go ahead and send them along, because I like to get your ideas, and I like to actually do videos and give you what you're asking for. So go ahead and subscribe. I welcome you. The benefits for you in today's video is that we're going to talk about the differences, again, the differences between enmeshment and traumatic bonding and codependency. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to define them for you first. I'll give you examples, and then I'll show you the differences. All right. So codependency, we all know that codependency is basically it's an excessive need for a person, right? It's an excessive emotional and psychological need for the other person to be present in your life. It is also a reciprocal emotional interaction between two people, right? The two individuals are both codependent, or the two individuals have emotional needs, and they feel those emotional needs for each other. The sad part is if the individuals become too close, right, then the codependent partner or spouse in the relationship is going to lose their autonomy. They're also going to lose their independence, and they're also going to find it really hard to make decisions on their own. They always have to have the other person. Think of codependence as a disability, right? What happens is when you become codependent, you rely on the other person in the relationship to do the thinking, to do the cooking, to do the working, to do the management of things, right? To pick up the slack. And what you tend to do, or the individual who's codependent, is you kind of step back out of the situation and you let the other person take the lead. Well, you know, individuals who are codependent who do that, they end up losing their ability to function on their own. So they lose their basic skills. They also lose their cognitive skills because they begin to think and feel like the person they're codependent with. So codependency really is like swallowing a poisonous pill and becoming a totally different person emotionally and psychologically, because you've kind of sold your soul, right? You've given the other person access to the most intimate parts of who you are as a person, and now you can't get out because you're so interwoven, if I'm saying that correctly, right? You're so interconnected. So that's codependency. It's really having an excessive emotional, psychological need for somebody, and you need them to help you. You need them to feel good. You need them to think straight. You need them to do things for you, right? It's not, I want you in my life because I love you. It's, I need you in my life because I'm dependent. Okay, so that's codependency. I think it's really important to keep in mind that codependency doesn't always equal love. I think a lot of people think that, you know, if I'm codependent or if I'm dependent on this person, I must be in love, or I must love my mother, or I must love my husband, or I must love my brother, my family, and that's not always the case. I think there's a clear difference between codependency and love. It just takes a keen eye to see those differences. All right. The next one is traumatic bonding. So I'm an internationally certified trauma therapist. So I have a lot of experience working with individuals in the nation and overseas who are dealing with traumatic bonding and who are looking for experts or specialists to talk to them about it. Traumatic bonding is the whole idea that you become almost lost and confused between the good and the evil side of an abusive person, or of a person who is unhealthy or toxic. So, you know, there's an interplay between the good and the evil, or the good or the bad side of the person. So you kind of get lost in the shuffle. The individual who is unhealthy, toxic, emotionally unstable, enmeshed with you, whatever the case may be, they're going to be good sometimes, but they're also going to be bad sometimes as well. So you begin to develop almost this inability to look at the bad person because you're so zoned in and you're so pulled into the good parts of that person. I'm sure you've seen this in domestic violence relationships or situations where the abused spouse says, you know, he didn't mean it. You know, he snaps out every now and then, but we bounce back. We always do, right? That's kind of minimizing it, and that's kind of zoning in on the good side of the person and you're ignoring the bad side of the person. So traumatic bonding is getting stuck between those two areas, the good and the bad of the person, and you cling to the good as opposed to the bad. And so then you begin to stand up for the individual. You begin to make excuses, minimize. You begin to stonewall and not talk about things. You begin to close up and clam up and shut down in order to still have that relationship, even though you know it's not healthy. And a lot of people do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason back in the building with another slapper. This is a tough one. Karmic enmeshment cycles. A deeper look at how trauma bonds destroy your personhood. Enmeshment. It refers to relationships that have become so intertwined that boundaries are non-existent or identical. While this concept most often occurs between a primary caregiver and their child, it can also happen in romantic relationships. Although enmeshment can initially lessen worries around abandonment and rejection, ongoing enmeshment can lead to resentment and low relationship satisfaction. This is deep. This is heavy. This is what I need you guys to understand. Let me ask the questions first. You already know what this is. This is a non-judgmental space where everybody can call in and share their opinions. Opinions on what? On relationship. Why is it important that we talk about relationships every day? Because relationships are ubiquitous, especially with regards to the human condition, right? Every aspect of our life is touched by relationships, and the quality of our relationships dictate the quality of our lives. You have poor relationships, you're going to have a poor life. And really, in order to work together, in order to have a team, a high-level team, a team that accomplishes things, a team that is there for mental support, emotional support, physical support, there has to be some type of rapport. And relationships allows us to not only build rapport with each other, but serving as a spiritual mirror allows us to build a better rapport with our primary relationship, which is the relationship with self. So tonight's topic is very important because oftentimes we bond, we bond we bond with the lowest level of each other. That's typically where the bond is, right? When you reach higher levels of consciousness, you will understand that nothing belongs to your ass anyway. Uh-oh. What? Yeah, this person doesn't belong to you. So there's no need for bonding. It is your wound that needs a spiritual and relational adhesive. Your wound needs to be held all the time. Your wound needs to be reassured and acknowledged and appreciated. It is your wound that requires supply, acknowledgement, approval, acceptance. And this is where we bond at, right? We bond on these levels. Karmic. What is the karmic piece? Well, you hear in the spiritual realm that's a karmic relationship. In other words, it's a problematic relationship where you're supposed to learn some kind of lesson, right? I would just say karmic is just the New Agers' way of saying generational curses. Relationships are designed to expose generational curses, right? And the exposure of a generational curse really is supposed to get your attention because that is your spiritual homework. I know you may have homework in school. I know you may have duties and things at work, but you also have spiritual responsibilities. And relationships bring those spiritual responsibilities to light. So karmic enmeshment cycles, right? Why is it a cycle? Because the last time you went through it, you didn't see it as a spiritual lesson. All you saw it as was an irritant, something you needed to get away from. And when you get away from the lesson, all you do is delay the lesson. Somebody meme it. I want to see that on Instagram. If you try to get away from the lesson, all you do is delay the lesson, right? Lessons are designed for confrontation. But here's the cold part: non-judgmental confrontation. Objective. Why are you here? What is your purpose in my life? Why do you follow me from relationship to relationship? What do you have to teach me? What am I missing with regards to your presence in my last few relationships? What if you could sit down and have that kind of conversation with a generational curse? Do cycles of karmic relationships present an opportunity to heal from generational curses? What connections can be drawn between trauma bonds, enmeshment, and self sovereignty? Ooh, Lord, I know y'all not ready for that. What effects does enmeshment have on an individual's ability to authentically relate to others? And are these effects a direct result of the individual's fractured connection to their sense of self? 1-800-920-1580. How does one know if they are experiencing karmic cycles? I keep repeating the same thing, the same. Well, how do I know that, right? Brought on by enmeshment. What are some examples of connections plagued by poor boundaries that result in trauma bonding? True or false? A trauma bond is fortified by enmeshment and thrives on the illusion of understanding and common ground. 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Is it possible for individuals to break free from trauma bonds and enmeshment cycles without external intervention or support? Or is professional help necessary in order to heal from these disruptive and destructive patterns? Here we go. When I come forward, you already know what the voice of reason is going to do. I'm going to open up the phone lines, 1-800-920-1580. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I'll be talking to you in a sec. Y'all didn't hear the topic? Kenny, you on the line. You didn't hear the topic? Are you serious, Kenny? You want me to say the topic again? Respond to me now. Seemed like a longer setup. You know why? Because I let that video play a little while longer. That first video, I let a good little piece play. What up, what up, what up, y'all? Welcome into the show. Everybody, please hit the like button, hit the share button. Now, I didn't ask you guys yesterday, but I'm asking you today. Please sign up for my masterclass. All right? onestream.tv/the relationship ER. Tapped in, Mississippi. And don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, share the live, let everybody know what we doing. Yeah. Your thoughts are always okay. What do you mean, Nikki? Of course they were okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. What? Hey Zoe and chat room sending love from the ATL. Thank you, Miss Decatur. Y'all tell your friends and family to get in here. You could have an off day, but unfortunately today wasn't it. Today wasn't it. Yup. Today wasn't it. I don't think so. Hey, get on the phone lines, guys. Let's talk. Can we have a full on discussion today with my folk? I mean, I could talk.
So what I would say is the worst result that comes out of complex trauma is how it changes your self-identity. So a child that's loved and accepted is a positive self-identity. I have value. I have something to offer to the world. A child with complex trauma that's felt neglected, it's my fault, I must not be good enough, they have a negative self-identity.
Wait, pause that. And I want to play it one more time. The reason why that's important, I got to hear that one more time. And the reason why I think it's important, I think the fundamental attribution error is more prevalent than we are willing to acknowledge. The fundamental attribution error is when uh, you attribute, you know, negative descriptors or framing of a situation because you don't have a direct experience of it. So somebody cheats on you. Oh, he's a cheater. He's no good. Somebody lies to you. Oh, he's a damn liar. He's no good. He's worthless, right? Or she's worthless or whatever. And oftentimes, we don't know what their attachment style is. We don't know what their early childhood was like. We don't know what they've been through. All we know is I didn't sign up for this, or what I signed up for, I'm not getting. So the fundamental attribution error works like this. Imagine we're in a car, we're driving, and somebody swoops in front of us and almost crashes into us. And you've seen it happen before if you've experienced this before. You might yell out racial epithets, right? You might yell out, these fools can't drive. You might go crazy. But if you understood what was happening in their car, you might have a different level of understanding, a different level of empathy, right? Say it's a guy and, he has a cup of coffee and his wife is in the back seat and she's pregnant and he's driving crazy to get her to the hospital. He drops the cup of coffee on his lap, or he's on the phone and he doesn't have it hooked up to the Bluetooth, and he's trying to put it on speakerphone. He drops the phone, and anything could happen. But because we don't know everything that's going on, we will apply, certain attributes. And usually those attributes are negative. The fundamental attribution error. And the reason why I say I wanted to play that clip one more time is because this guy is breaking down something that many people may have gone through, but in our assessment of these people after they may have hurt us in some capacity, we label them as no good and shiftless and lacking morals and integrity. Like we really, really pin them down because they didn't show up for us in the way that we desired. Play that clip one more time.
So what I would say is the worst result that comes out of complex trauma is how it changes your self-identity. So a child that's loved and accepted is a positive self-identity. I have value. I have something to offer to the world. A child with complex trauma that's felt neglected, it's my fault, I must not be good enough, they have a negative self-identity.
A negative self-identity because they didn't get it in childhood. Complex trauma, right? If you don't understand that and they let you down in some way, cheat on you, betray you, lie to you, you're automatically gonna condemn them. At the end of the day, I get it. Hurt is hurt. But remember, hurt people hurt people. And at the same time, we are all victims of victims. Nobody wants to see the correlation between, hey, it's two human beings. Just because one flawed human being hurt another, that doesn't mean, if given the opportunity, the same person who was hurt won't turn around and hurt that person back. Listen, get back is for real in relationships. Listen, when we come forward, the voice of reason, I'm going to go to the phone lines. The phone lines are jammed up right now. I'm going to go to the phone lines. I really want to talk to you guys about this, because this enmeshment, this trauma bonding, it's a real situation. When we come forward, the voice of reason goes to the phone lines. Yeah. What happened? What happened, Dustin? What is that? What does that spell? I'm trying, I don't want to say it, but what does that mean? We asking for grace, man. Everybody's asking for grace, man. Ain't nobody got it to give, though, for sure. My longest break. I hope you guys show love. I'd appreciate whatever you could do. Grace Waster. Wow, that's heavy. What up, y'all? Everybody good? Everybody straight? Is Grace a good investment today, Lord? Woo. Hey, I think somebody finna get knee surgery. But you ain't heard it from me.
It's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving
What up, party people in the place to be?
trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door.
Why you never joined Tariq Twitter space? Sometimes my brother Tariq, he be on late. And I just be wanting to pop in just to listen. Man, I be in the bed. You know, I just be hella comfortable at that time. So it's like, you know, but maybe one day I will pop in for sure. But man, brother Tariq, he go on late sometimes, man, and I just be like, just be a little too late for me. You know, no disrespect to the brother. That's my brother. He's a good brother. He's doing what he's doing. He's doing his work. But man, sometimes I just want to pop in. And then the other little feature that I think is kind of weird, here's the weird piece. There's like a feature on X where you could be, I guess, invisible or incognito. And sometimes I don't want to do that either. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna join you know, the live or whatever, you know, it's okay for people to know that I'm in the live. Like I'm not trying to hide, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, a lot of times, man, I just duck in just to hear what's going on, and not really to contribute. But man, from what I heard, the brother got it covered. You know what I'm saying? He got it covered. He's doing his thing. So it's all good. I hope that answered your question, brother. You can block your reaction and presence. See, I didn't even know any of that. So, you know. But I saw the notification. I was like, let me just jump in and see what Brother Reek is talking about. Let me see. You know, you gotta explain things, you know. It did. Much love, Zoe. Oh, no doubt. Sometimes you gotta explain it, because you know, the internet could take something and run with it and turn it into something else. All right.
That's the parent who just praises their child and spoils the hell out of them, or the parent who says, you're not a bother, you're such a good kid. There's an underlying bind each child is placed in. You better not have needs and wants, because I can't fulfill them. You need to be perfect so that I feel okay as your parent. Also, I can parade you around my friends as what a great parent I am. These are the underlying subconscious things at play because our parents in these situations are so broken emotionally and they don't know it because as society, we won't talk about this stuff or teach it. It's not to blame. My dad's not to blame.
Wow. The concept of enmeshment, as described by the Attachment Project, highlights the detrimental effects of relationships that lack boundaries and individual autonomy. Enmeshment often begins in the primary caregiver child relationship, but can also manifest in romantic relationships, leading to resentment and dissatisfaction over time. This lack of boundaries can pave the way for trauma bonding, a phenomenon in which a deep emotional connection is formed with someone who has inflicted self harm, creating a cycle of abuse and reinforcement. The connection between trauma bonds, enmeshment, and self sovereignty is a complex one. Enmeshment can erode an individual's sense of self and autonomy. Let me stop right there. At the end of the day, the highest level of love is unconditional, right? A synonym for unconditional, you could argue, is freedom. I'm unconditionally free, free to be me, as I am, human, flawed. But in relationships, because of that critical parent child relationship, if that relationship doesn't go off without a hitch, whatever glitch you modeled in childhood, you carry the glitch into your adult relationship for repair, for spiritual reparation. Your adult relationship is the hospital for your child parent relationship. I know people don't understand it and don't want to hear it put that way, but that's what it is, right? Emotional enmeshment is a type of unhealthy emotional control that can occur in family relationships. It's characterized by a lack of boundaries, blurred roles and expectations. Oh, my son serves as the man of the house. Emotional enmeshment. Now, hey, hold on. Just because dad isn't there doesn't mean he's diet dad. He takes on the road of pseudo dad. No, he's son. He's child. He is not. You understand what I'm saying? It is characterized by a lack of boundaries, blurred roles and expectations, and an inability for family members to be emotionally independent. Nah, we got to think the same way. Wrong. Trauma bonding is a little different, right? This is heavy stuff. I don't know. That was emotional enmeshment, but trauma bonding. Trauma bond is an intense emotional connection that can develop between people who experience a traumatic event together. It can also occur when someone feels a connection to their abuser based on the abuse they've experienced. Trauma bonding can be a natural response to trauma and can have both positive and negative effects. I will say this as well. I don't think it's just this camaraderie that is felt, this weird camaraderie that is felt in a traumatic experience that is experienced together. I also believe trauma bonding can extend outward. We may have similar trauma, similar wounds, and those wounds find companionship within each other. That's a spiritual take on it. And then with the codependence, what you're going to see in those type of relationships again is a lack of boundaries. Codependent people second guess themselves. They have this undying need for approval from their partner. They fear abandonment. They desire to take care of others. They're always avoiding conflict. They have low self-esteem. They have trouble making decisions. They're really good at ignoring their own needs. There's self-neglect. There's a lack of really good communication skills. And they're always in a relationship that feels like it's not going anywhere, right? They have trouble identifying their own emotions. There's a desire to be needed. There's difficulty dealing with change. They have intimacy issues, feelings of loneliness and jealousy, enabling behavior. It goes on and on and on and on. Does this sound familiar? According to Buddhism, attachment is a primary cause of human suffering. The Sanskrit term is dukkha. In particular, the Buddha taught that attachment to desire is the root of suffering, and that it's not the desire itself, but the tendency to cling to it that causes distress. Attachment can also refer to clinging to people, objects, ideas, and experiences, right? Things I like to call the living noun. Person, places, and things. The living noun, right? You put so much pressure on your partner when you want them to be a living noun. I want to go places with you. I want to get things with you. Person, places, and things, right? Where we going? We traveling? What we doing? The living noun, right? We get attached to that, right? And we think that brings happiness, right? From an external space. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Many of our relationships are rooted in dukkha. We plant the seed of dukkha during good times. But when the harvest of dukkha shows up, what is dukkha for the Sanskrit? Dukkha is dissatisfaction, unhappiness, frustration. We plant the seed of dissatisfaction, frustration, unhappiness during good times. I know y'all not ready for what Zoe is laying down tonight, but we gonna get it right. I got callers calling in from all over the world. We're about to get them in here in 2.2 seconds. When I come forward, I'm going to Detroit and Hawaii. Get to your phone lines right now, 1-800-920-1580. All right, I hope I set it up for you guys good enough, right? We good? Was that Truemonger who hit the super chat? We got one super. No, that was Kenny Blessed. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, Kenny Blessed, for the super chat. What happened, Attila? Was it set up right? No? It wasn't good? You want me to go back? I'll go back. What up, Melody? What up? Andy. What up, what up, what up? I said, what up? You said, what up? I said, what up, what up? What is that? I don't even know what that little, what does that mean? What does that mean? Uh-huh. All right, let's get these callers. Melody. We lit. Come on, Mac Shug 510. Thank you, brother. You took us to $6.99 on the chat. Thank you, brother, on the super chat. The super chat is the little dollar sign down at the bottom of the chat. If you feel so inclined, please show your love. Hey, Andy. What's next? Always on my mind. No doubt, Brandon James. I'm always do me.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Therapy. We are so excited to be with you. We are your hosts, Scott and Vanessa Martindale, counselors, married 10 years, BFFs.
Yes.
Just all around. We love working in ministry and doing therapy. It's going to be a great day.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about enmeshment and emotional incest, which sounds really bad. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
These words are not like warm words, but I think in blended families and in relationships, we deal with this and we understand this from a perspective of, how our priorities are, what we do with our time, and how those relationships look. So let's dive into enmeshment. So in the weeks before, we've done some podcasts on this, and we've talked about just unhealthy enmeshment. We've seen how it affects blended families and it affects marriages. So Vanessa, tell us a little bit about enmeshment and kind of what is that?
Yeah, so the definition that I have that comes from the American Psychological Association of enmeshment, it's a condition in which two or more people, typically family members, are involved in each other's activities and personal relationships to an excessive degree. And so it's typically where you see like, for instance, and we see this a lot in blended families where you have like a mother and son relationship. Maybe the mom's, maybe the spouse passes away. So then the son gets elevated into a position where he's kind of like the caretaker and kind of like the husband, so to speak. And that's where it crosses the line of emotional incest, which is what we're also going to be speaking in today, because they both really kind of intertwine together.
Yeah. Yeah, you think this term like mama's boy or daddy's girl, and but as these people become married and now we are detaching and forming our own family, we see this enmeshment when it comes to how we make decisions. Who's influencing our marriage and our family? How are we making decisions for our kids? And I've seen it when I counsel couples, and maybe the wife is saying, "Hey, I feel like his mother is right in our marriage." Like there's an enmeshment of decision making that we're not making decisions together. It's like his mother's making that. Or in blended families, we see this a little bit in co-parenting, where maybe the other co-parent spouse is influencing or enmeshing themselves into their new marriage, and helping influence decisions.
Yeah, and typically enmeshment involves some type of trauma or illness in the family. So, it can be the death and loss, like we talked about that, loss, abuse, or violence that makes a person in the family cling to another excessively. It could also be like maybe someone in your family having an addiction or mental illness that makes
another family member emotionally, it makes them emotionally dependent on their child.
I hope you guys understand what we're describing here. Codependence, emotional enmeshment, trauma bonding, and the 3 different definitions we gave for them earlier in the show. It's really relationship prison. It's doing life in relationships. Relationship as supermax. That's what this is. Real love is synonymous with freedom. You can't have real love unless you are 100% free to be yourself, free to express yourself, free to go into yourself alone. Do you understand? Free. Unconditional love. A synonym for unconditional is freedom. The highest level of unconditional love, right? That's the highest form of love, unconditional love. But you can't reach it unless you're unconditionally you. Do you see? You cannot have these enmeshed relationships that are toxic at the base, dictating your level of comfort with being, number one, yourself, and then being with your partner. Krishnamurti put it this way: love is not desire. It is a great thing to find out this for oneself. And if love is not desire, then what is love? Love is not mere attachment to your body. Love is not attachment in any form. Love is not jealousy, ambition, fulfillment, or becoming. Love is not desire or pleasure. The fulfillment of desire, which is pleasure, is not love. So I have found out what love is. It is none of these things. Have I understood these elements, and am I free of them? Or I just say, I understand intellectually, I understand verbally. But help me to go deeper. I can't. You have to do it for yourself. In other words, in order to love another unconditionally, you must first disconnect from codependency. You must first disconnect from trauma bonds. You must first disconnect from emotional enmeshment. You have to disconnect from the desire to want to be what they said you were supposed to be. Do you see how knowledge of self is intricately tied to love? Well, we got callers on the line. Let's get them. Let's get them. Kenny from Detroit. Kenny, what up?
What up, baby?
Hey,
How you
man.
doing?
What up, though? What's your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Man, you hitting all the points, man. You taking all the words out my mouth.
Well, go ahead, man. Tell me about it.
Man, listen. I think unconditional love is hitting it on the nail, the nail on the head. You gotta have that unconditional love. You gotta have that. But you gotta be bred with it. I'm that guy. I'm that one.
Uh-huh.
I know I'm bred with it. When you speak, how you speak,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking to me. I'll be like, okay, yeah, it gotta be me. Because through everything, I'm still standing tall.
Mm.
And I'm still, loyal to the game. You see everybody unwavering around you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm standing tall. Like, people ready to give up, give in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there for the long haul. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever relationships. I see it in my family relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I see it in my personal relationships, intimate relationships. People be so quick to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, I feel like you have to address the situation, these trauma bonds that we get connected with. I think it's just the real talk. We're weak.
No, you just touched on something real. You just touched on something real big. You said no. You just said something real. It sparked something. You said we just want to let go. Is that what you said?
Absolutely.
Do you know we live in a society that is so toxic that letting go, listen to what I'm about to say, letting go is another form of escapism. See, because if I let something go without first examining it objectively, without first looking how it ties into me, right? Maybe my childhood upbringing. See, it's easy to let something go without investigation, right? So, oh, this is the source of the problem. Let it go. Do you see what I'm saying? Letting go is another form of discard. Don't discard until you understand, right? And you say, understand what? How what you're discarding is a mirror of something in you. See, that's when you let go. Once you realize, hey, there's an aspect of me that relates to what I'm trying to release. And I can't really release it for good until I've understood the aspect that mirrors me. Like, oh, I do this. I co-created this. Oh, I called this in. Does that make sense, brother?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. We gotta grow some.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta grow some in our culture. We all raised like that, man. I'm raised from a single mom, and I struggle with the anxious, preoccupied because my father wasn't there like he was supposed to be. You know what I mean? My mom's trying to carry both loads. So I don't blame my mom. You know what I'm saying? Although, I didn't get a lot from her, but when she passed away, she stepped up and she worked that out. But man, we just gotta grow up, man. We gotta realize the reality that we live in and stop and give each other grace.
Man, I love
it. We all will come with trauma bonds. Like, shut up and if that's who you rocking with, rock with them. If you unconditional. And if you ain't loved somebody, you have not loved somebody if you are able to let go. That's not love. That's something weird.
Wait, hold tight. Hold tight. You cooking? You done brought Detroit in the building. Stay with me. Don't leave. When we come forward, we going back to Detroit because Kenny got some things to say.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Hey, Kenny not playing, huh? That's cool. Ain't no regardless in relationship. People leave all the time. No. I'm trying to elevate this whole conversation. Letting go is like changing clothes. The reason why you can't let go is because you don't really know how to resolve things internally. Moving on is not the same as letting go. The spiritual aspect of letting go, spiritual resolution from within. It is resolved internally. Most of us think we're letting go. No, we're moving on. That's what we're good. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I called letting go a form of discard. You think people fully understand from the inside out what happened, why it happened, the reason it happened, and they understand from a non-judgmental space while giving grace? People are not doing that. People are moving on. They're not letting go. Like, this is why I be trying to get y'all to dig deeper, like apply all of these philosophical concepts across the board. These concepts are coming from Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Ifa, quantum physics. They're coming from all of these spaces, and I'm weaving them into one narrative.
And fetish, financial infidelity, dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy. How about the child wasn't here, and you still had to pay child support? It's a very heated topic. How was that right? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I don't think this is wrong with that.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with the bad touch routine. How does he maintain his composite?
He likes it when it pinches my nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Ooh. Attila, if you don't call the fuck in and say that, oh my God.
Voice of reason.
I want you to sort of think about this for a second. Imagine that you have a dog, okay? And your dog is fully trained. You have a dog walker that comes twice a day. And you don't really have any, like, things you have to do for the dog. But the dog follows you around all day. And the dog, sits in the room that you're working in for the day, does whatever it does. You're probably not going to be like, oh my gosh, the dog's in the room with me and they're taking away my freedom. You're probably not going to have like any kind of big limiting beliefs there or fears. But why would you feel like that? Like, why do people spend time with, friends or romantic partners and then think like, oh my gosh, that was so tiring. Like, I can't wait to get home. And this is something that FAs and DAs both experience a lot of the time. What's the difference? Well, usually it's because inherent in the commitment you're making to spend the time with somebody, there's some form of self-abandonment happening. And that's why you associate a relationship commitment with taking away your freedom, because you're abandoning a part of yourself. It could be that you're people-pleasing. It could be that you have to be on all the time and you're not willing to show your imperfections. It could be that you have to think you have to act a certain way or say certain things or have a certain energy level that you bring to the table when you're around that person. Whatever it might be, if you feel drained or if you feel like people are taking away your freedom when you're in a commitment to them, a committed relationship, then there's going to be a portion of that that's very likely that you are actually taking away your own freedom through trying to put on a mask or not speak up for your needs, repress your needs, abandon your boundaries, people please, whatever it might be. That's leading to feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel confined or trapped by that relationship. So that's a really important principle that we want to start by looking at first. And if you struggle with that, you need to do a deep dive into your boundaries and get clear about your boundaries and get clear about your needs. Those are two, honestly, non-negotiable key ingredients to bring in if you want to have a securely attached relationship. You need to know your needs.
Listen, the voice of listen, I'm saying unpopular things. I'm saying unpopular things. What do you mean so? It's unpopular because I say it in such a dramatic way. I am not your unhealed wounds butler. I'm in service to your spirit, not your wounds. I will not be Benson or Mr. Belvedere for your wounds. And so many people got it twisted. They think you're supposed to show up for their wounds. No, ma'am. To me, that's the biggest red flag there is. This is who I think I am because of what I've been through, and I need you to conform, capitulate, and fit around the demands of this unhealed space in my heart. No, ma'am, I'm not going to do it. And no one should be expected to do it. Do you understand? Farnsworth Bentley of wounds. I'm not going to be catering to what is unhealed in you. And so many of us have it twisted. We were talking about it during the break. So many people were talking about letting go. We're not letting go from an elevated consciousness. We're letting go from a fear-based consciousness, which in fact means we are running. Letting go is tantamount to escaping, running. It's easy to use a lofty term. Let go and let God. But you're letting go out of fear, out of anxiety, right? The wound is dictating. Let me go even deeper for my church folk. An unhealed wound that dictates your life is a type of possession. Uh-oh. Let me pull back. Kenny from Detroit. Get back in here, Kenny. Give me your final thoughts, brother.
Bulldozer, man. I'm gonna keep it brief. Listen, they gonna learn today. That's what I gotta say about that. You think we're gonna sit around and be a punching bag? You gonna learn today. That don't mean I'm gonna love you less, but you gotta learn.
That's right.
Also, you say this too. We're work in progress. We're all works in progress.
Right.
That's what these people don't understand. That's what these souls don't understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, one last thing is that I see in the comments people are speaking about, the attachment styles, like, anxious, preoccupied, and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I relate to,
mm-hmm.
right? I know what my attachment style is.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, all of these attachment styles are just feelings. And I'm not about to be moved by a feeling. I'm vibrating on another level. I'm vibrating spiritually. So if I'm anxious, that's a feeling. That's temporary. I'm not sitting on that. I'm not living on that.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to base your relationship off of something temporary, a feeling? We got to think deeper.
Man, I love that, brother. Thank you so much. Guess what you just did, my friend?
I brought Detroit town in the city.
Detroit, you know what up, though? Hey, if you want to bring your city in the building, you know the deal. All you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. We still got callers. I'm going to Mountain View next. But before I do that, I got to say this. Letting go from an elevated consciousness level is synonymous with closure, with resolution. How many times have you let go and didn't have closure? And the closure you didn't have was still gnawing at you. Do you understand? When you elevate the consciousness, letting go is a type of resolution. No more questions are needed. No more answers are needed. No more explanations are needed. See, we love taking spiritual concepts and bringing them down to the lowest level of consciousness, which is rooted in guilt, shame, fear, and apathy. I got to let you go because I can't look bad. I got to let you go because I don't know what they're going to say. I got to let you go because you understand what this don't feel good. You have to understand. If you get Dr. David R. Hawkins' book, the book is called Letting Go. But the subtitle, Letting Go, the Pathway of Surrender. Not capitulation, like I give up, but surrender to the higher source within you. But you can't get to the higher source within you if there's a fear of you, the total you, the real you, the true you, the dark you, the selfish you, the greedy you, the addicted you, the conflicted you. This is why I say most people don't know how to let go. They just know how to move on. Moving on is simply escapism. All right, let's get it. Let's keep it going. John, Mountain View, Hawaii. Aloha. What up, what up, what up?
Aloha, greetings and blessings, Chad. Still taking notes from yesterday.
Yeah.
I got something to share today.
Talk to me, brother.
I'm a military-minded individual, so instead of taking care of the things that are out of my reach at the moment, I tend to deal with what we call 50-meter target.
Mm-hmm.
And since life is full of a layer of onions and stuff you got to peel back and deal with and everything else, before we get to that spiritual side that brings about the glory that we want to see or probably got a glimpse of when we're chasing after right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, can we let go of the dream of having a very experienced virgin next to us?
A very experienced virgin. Speak on it.
It doesn't have to go any deeper than that. It's just, gentlemen, we have a lot of stuff that we need to just wipe away. Ladies, why do you speak different languages? Why is womanese and the word good not so good to you?
Womanese. Keep going. I'm listening.
The whole point of getting all of these things pushed aside, let go of, drop this bag, get this off your chest. For those of us who actually carry rucksacks, and I still do as a 52 or 3-year-old, I forget my age. I carry a rucksack. It's almost like women wearing bras. Once you pull that thing off, you feel very light. But you had to get the grace too, but you had to wear it to hold on to what you had already. So again, not everything needs to be let go of, as it's already been eloquently spoken. You need to have knowledge of what you're carrying, and hopefully what it is that you're actually carrying, and it's not this trauma bonding or anything that's hindering from your spiritual side that you definitely desire. So let's look forward. Let's continue to go down this path. It's going to be dark. You're not going to know what's going on, and you don't know what's coming next. But accept it. As Mr. Zoe Williams told me about maybe 6 months ago. Just accept what's being allowed by your Savior and you, and work on the situations at hand to get you to the better future you definitely need, want, and desire.
My brother John, guess what you just did, good brother?
Views in the house. God bless you.
Come on, all the way across the Pacific, man, up into Hawaii. Get to your phone lines, 1-800-920-1580. Before I go to my next caller, let me just say this really quickly. August 3rd and 4th, I'm having a relationship masterclass, i.e. workshop. It's called the Relationship ER. Why the ER? Because most relationships are in the emergency room. This is how you sign up. Sign up now because registration is limited. I need you to go to OneStream, the number one, onestream.tv/ the Relationship ER. Let me do it again. The number one, onestream.tv/ the Relationship ER. Listen, it's a 2-day course. I've written out the curriculum. Day 1 is philosophy. Day 2 is the clinical side. I'll have a clinician sitting in to guide us through this conversation. But when I tell you, I'm going to reveal some things that I have been holding on for the last couple of years in this masterclass. I haven't done a masterclass in about 2 years. So I want you all to sign up. Everybody within the sound of my voice, please go to the website right now. onestream.tv/ the Relationship ER. With that said, when I come forward, the voice of reason is going back to the phone lines, and Texas is in the house big time. Let's get it. Yo, we good. Hit the like button. The likes are great. Can we get some support? No super, we only got like 2 super chats. We're at $16.99. Yo, you know YouTube takes 30% of that. We have no cash apps whatsoever. These shows take a lot of effort. I ain't gonna lie to you. These shows take a tremendous amount of effort. And sometimes I need to feel like it is appreciated and reciprocated. Can y'all show your support now? And we don't ask for much. We ask for $2. You see people dropping $4.99, $2. We ask for the bare minimum. But we giving the max. Oh, there she is. Nikki, I be wanting you to call in. That's what I want. But I love you, Nikki, and I appreciate it. Everybody, please like Nikki's support. She hit the super chat here. Please like it. Everybody, run those likes up. It's 60 something people in here. Run the likes up on her super chat. We appreciate it. Tapped in, Nikki from the SIP. Please continue to support. Please show your love, 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 love. Like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. We got the likes up. We got the subscribes up. Let's get it. True Measy, my brother. True Monger. The likes are rolling up on them. Like it, like it. I see it. We got 10 likes for Nikki. We got 4 likes for True. Keep liking the support that the people give. You know there's a function where you could hit the like button. Unca 352. Yeah, I am. I fucking hate that shit. But it is what it is what I am. 3-5 line. Damn. And we're up to $41.99 because of those two right there. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. Please continue to do so.
There's one kind of romantic relationship that I wouldn't wish on anyone, and that's the kind that's been made intense by a trauma bond. If you were abused or neglected as a kid, you've probably been through it, and I want to help you make sure it never happens again. So what is a trauma bond? It's another name for a dynamic that's also called intermittent reinforcement, where one person gives intense affection and approval to the other person, and then alternates it with neglect and disapproval and abandonment or even sometimes abuse. Now, you would think that this kind of emotional on-off torture, just blowing hot and cold to the point of cruelty, would drive away prospective partners, right? I mean, this ugly treatment should signal major danger to anyone who actually wanted to be loved. But that's exactly where people traumatized as kids are vulnerable. And if that's you, you probably recognize right away what I'm talking about, whether you had a name for it when it happened to you or not. And you've already noticed that when someone treated you like this, loving you, then turning cold and betraying you over and over, back, forth, it has this insidious power to hook your mind, to grab onto your heart and keep you obsessed and sad and feeling too messed up to get out. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and I teach... Man, the Crappy Childhood Fairy, I've been telling you guys, look her up on YouTube. She's amazing, great information. If you want to follow along with some of the clips that I provide, sometimes I mention them, sometimes I don't. But
the crappy childhood fairy, she kills the game. Attachment theory, as pioneered by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, provides valuable insights into the impact of early attachment wounds on the development of trauma bonds and enmeshment patterns within relationships. Secure attachment styles are crucial for breaking free from these cycles, as they foster a sense of safety, trust, and emotional security in relationships. Now, listen, I want you guys to be mindful. We just like we misinterpret the word narcissist, love, God, oftentimes we misinterpret and aggrandize and blow out of proportion the words safety, trust, security. We have to be very careful of those words, right? Because as children, those words have been etched in our spirit to mean everything's going to be okay. No, but you got to have a sense of safety in danger. You got to have a sense of trust in uncertainty. And you got to have a sense of security in insecurity. A lot of people don't know what that means. But I always go back to the analogy of Jesus on the boat with his disciples. He was the only one that had a sense of safety, trust, and security. Why? I myself can do nothing. He could have took the same mentality as the disciples. He could have been like, you know what? I'm scared too. This storm is a nasty one. Because don't act like Jesus didn't show his humanity. He showed his humanity when it came time for the crucifixion. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, my God, let this cup pass from me, not as I will, but as thy will. Why? He was crying tears of blood because he didn't want to do it. But on that boat, he had a sense of safety, trust, and security in an insecure moment. And if we know relationships are a mirror, if you can dig deep in your spirit and discover safety, trust, and security in an unsecure moment, then won't reality mirror that inner confidence? Won't reality mirror that inner trust, that inner sense of safety and security? No, Disney told us Prince Charming is going to come give us the sense of safety, security, and trust that we need. You don't even trust your damn self. And that's why you need it from others. And that's why you become codependent. And that's why you're no different than a narcissist who needs a supply. All you got to do is keep showing up and giving what you've been given, and everything will be all right. That's not how it works. You've got to develop it from within. We looking for it from without. I need a safe space. Then create one in your heart. If it was in your heart, it would be in your life, not as a performance from an external source. Ah, man, I know y'all not ready for this kind of work, man. How come, okay, the brother who be clipping the videos, clip some of this. This too much heat to go unclipped, man. The voice of reason is on fire tonight. Get to your phone lines, 1-800-920-1580. I want to talk to everybody who's been on the longest. As a matter of fact, let's get Attila from Houston, Texas in here. We got a Texas run coming. Attila, this is your topic. Why did you make this topic? Why you get me turned up?
Because I'm suffering on. No, but I mean, like, to be honest, it's just a mere part of reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
You try to do your work, you kind of got to reflect, right?
Right.
But I think on a real tip, something that I picked up on, trauma bonds distinguish you from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a sign of long suffering that gives you little to no benefit.
Mm.
So I say all that to say some of the things that I think we see as good when we talk about long suffering in terms of staying in connection, I feel like that is a segment of society that is anxious, that is targeted for that type of message because they already have an issue with letting go in the first place. How are you going to tell me to do something that you can't do? Right? Like, it makes sense why the advice would be to stay and to be in a position of quote-unquote long suffering because you can't manage to do that for yourself.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times that, things really do need to be worked out, but I think that is the last thing that someone who's dealing with anxious preoccupied wants to do, but it's the very thing that they need to learn how to do in the same way that someone who is avoidant needs to learn how to lean in. And I say this from experiencing both sides. And so I think what really got me to write this topic is that if you can learn to let go of people in honor, then you've got something.
What is letting go of? What is that? Go deeper into. Yeah, define that for me. Letting go in honor. What does that mean?
Sure. I would say it's the absence of ego or fear, of any type of, foreboding repercussions. It's just a matter of this is what is the right thing to do in this situation, and you're willing to do it. So to me, there's a certain level of honor that comes from that because it's not easy for either side, anxious or avoidant. But I think a lot of us let go in fear, we let go in ego, we let go of unfinished business. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying
whoa, stay right there. Wait, stay right there. Don't go. Stay right there. Houston, Texas is on fire. When we come forward, we gonna get some more of that Tex-Mex. Let's go. Yeah. Tex-Mex. Hey, I'm dead ass serious. Y'all are my people. You guys are my tribe. If y'all don't sign up for this relationship ER masterclass, it'll be the last one I'll ever do. I gotta find some white folk. It'll be the last one I ever do. This isn't the curriculum. I've been waving this around real fast. Y'all know what this is? Do y'all know? You want to know what that is right there? Y'all want to know what this is? Who can guess what that is right there? It is a chapter, but who could guess? This is the proposal for the new book. And it has a whole chapter in it. Chapter 1. I had to print it out today. When I tell you, it's not a carrot, Nikki from the SIP. Listen, y'all should go in them prayer closets because I got something really big cooking and I don't want to talk about it directly online, but I got something huge cooking. I had a conversation about this yesterday. I had to send out a NDA. Listen, I got something huge cooking. So get in them prayer closets around this book. Cause yeah, it's a real situation.
At the very root of it all, we are storytellers. It's so important for our voices to be heard, not only as Black artists, but as Black curators, and as Black collectors, and as Black museum and gallery
It's a
owners.
real situation.
There are now a lot of people of color that are creating events that welcome
Yeah, you do.
and welcome diversity, but there still are some of these older galleries that have a certain mindset and run a certain way. When we
This
look
new one
at
is gonna
decisions we can push for change for more
it's
Black
gonna be on one.
artists. As a culture that makes so much content, how do you recommend that people really stand out in this landscape and get their stuff in front of
Finally getting to a space where I'm like, there it is. I sent it to my transcriber. She's like 70 years old. She used to live in North Carolina. She's over 70 now. But I sent it to her because, you know, her and we work on the transcriptions first. Then we send it to my editor, and then she shapes it and crafts it and edit it, and then she sends it to me, and I re-edit it and rewrite, and then there's that back and forth. But I sent that to her. She called me in tears. She was like, there it is. She was like, there it is. She was like, I see it. Oh my God, I see it, brother. I see it. Then, of course, she's a praying woman. She went right into prayer, you know, to pray over it and pray over me. And, you know, but she was like, there it is. She was like, I saw the concept when you said it initially, but then she was like, to see it, like structured and mapped out. She was like, yo, this is gonna be crazy. And she was like, I know I always say the books are gonna be good, but this one is this one. She was like, she said, this one is him, is what she said. I said, all right, that's him. So very excited about it. Very excited about it. Very, very, very excited about it. I'm gonna do my best, man. I hope. I know I shouldn't say it, but as soon as I'm done with a book, I'll be like, all right, cool. That was the last one. And then God gives me another idea. But the idea for this one, boy. The idea for this one, boy. 1 minute. I can't believe we didn't get a single Cash App today. Not a single Cash App. Not one. That's crazy. But let me acknowledge LaShawn Grice. LaShawn, it's been a long time. I'm so happy that you're back in here. I so appreciate you. Listen, ever since I've known you, man, sister, you have been showing up for me. I remember that time I came down to Atlanta and I met you, and it was real cool. I think I was with Mo D at the time. I was with Cool Mo D. Like, you guys are in the same space or near each other, I think. But yeah, I went to go see Mo. This gotta be like 5, 6 years, 7 years ago, something like that. Oh, Reggie White sent one. Thank you, Reggie. I didn't see it, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Reggie. I didn't see it. But I met LaShawn maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Such a cool spirit, and she back in here supporting. Thank you for that the super chat. Wait. Hold on, Andy. Andy is from a different generation. You gotta give me the song, Dan. Andy, I love Brandy, but I'll be looking for one in particular. You know what I'm looking for, Andy? What's your favorite, Andy? What is your? You love Brandy because you LA. LA. Brandy is Andy. Brandy and Andy. What are y'all, twins? Andy is one of the most LA people I know. Did you guys hear Not Like Us? Andy talk like that for real. Tell the truth, Andy. Don't get on the mic and give us the Not Like Us talk, Andy. Hey, Andy. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, Andy, talk like this, man. I love Andy, man. He's one of my favorite people in the world. Hey, give me the full moon, man. You know that's your favorite too. I know you're trying to save it, but I want it. I want it now. Let's go. Yeah, Andy.
Last clip.
And it made me notice you even more. You turned around and looked at me, seemed as though you must have somehow felt yourself on the road. Something tells me you're the kind of guy I like to get to know. I ain't even gonna cry. I ain't even gonna lie. Since you wake up in the club, I've been giving you my eye. We can dance if you want. Keep it cracking if you like. Wanna see you full moon.
Woo-hoo.
Moms are saints, angels by merely existing. No one could possibly understand what it's like to be a mom. Men will never understand. Women with no children will never understand. No one but moms know the hardship of motherhood. And we non-moms must heap nothing but praise upon moms, because we, lowly, pitiful non-moms, are mere peasants compared to the goddesses we call mothers. Hi, I am Dr. Kim Sage, and I'm a licensed psychologist, and I'm glad you're here. I wanted to share that quote from Jeanette McCurdy's book because reading it last week, alongside not feeling super great, kind of threw me into a multiple day, sort of a flashback, to be honest, a regression into this true feeling state, which really is the heart of an emotional flashback, into what it felt like to be engulfed and suffocated and consumed by the damage of a mother relationship that was defined by enmeshment and trauma bonding. And Jeanette's book, while there are lots of things about it that are just really validating and really, I think, for so many people, you may not have had that version of a mom, but if you read a book like that and you feel what it feels like for someone like Jeanette, I would say there's a very good chance you experience some kind of parental trauma. And I want to talk about the true damage that it does, the poison, the toxin, the thing that it does to us at the core. And there are many different versions of wounding by parents. But in this instance, we're talking about enmeshment at the core and trauma bonding, I believe, that really create this dynamic where there's you and the parent, the mother in the situation. And the damage that it does, I think, is incredibly important to understand. Coco just is getting close to my camera. I need to move it in 1 second. Oh, my love. Come here. For some reason, she always wants to get behind the camera every time I start filming. Okay, back to my important, serious topic. I'm only in this place of laughter because for honestly several days I couldn't get out of it, and it made me really kind of try to analyze and break down what was happening. So let's talk about quickly enmeshment and trauma bonding, and then we're going to get to what those things do to us and what we need to do to heal. Enmeshment is really, like I said, it's about a boundaryless dynamic between parent and child, where the child exists to serve the emotional, physical, mental, whatever needs of the parent. There is no separation between I'm a healthy little child and there's a hierarchy and a boundary and you're the parent. The child serves to rotate around the parent.
Pause. She's talking about the mother-child dynamic. But do you know that the same dynamic plays out in adult relationships? The inner child in you needs the caregiver in them being your significant other. That's why so much is placed on their shoulders. Now watch this. In terms of happiness, they're going to bring me happiness. And then what do? Like that child in the relationship with the caregiver, the child puts on a show in order to get the validation and acknowledgement from the caregiver. Do you know how many performance liars we have out here? I'm going to act right because I'm getting what my wound desires. Back to my mention of Krishnamurti earlier when he was saying desire is the problem. Desire is supply. Oh, the desire to be happy. Somebody's going to make me happy. Somebody's going to show up right. You ain't never showed up right for yourself. Okay, all right. Go ahead, finish. Let's play one more little 30 seconds of that.
Hierarchy and a boundary, and you're the parent. The child serves to rotate around the parent. And it almost feels like as if the parent can't breathe without the child in some way. Now, in Jeanette's book, she sort of tapped into Jeanette as the female child to provide a fantasy of living her own dream, the mother's dream of being an actor, potentially. And put Jeanette into acting as a young child and kind of forced her into it, and then continued to that.
Oh, Lord, we got callers. We got to get them in here. Oh, my God. Tonight's topic has been absolutely bananas. We got callers from all over the place. But let's get back to Attila. Please give us your final thought on tonight's topic.
Hello. So that was heavy. Which I should know because I sent the video. Y'all gotta check out Dr. Kim. When I tell you she is the truth, she is the truth. I want to posit though that with this dynamic, there's always a fork in the road, a moment where you kind of meet up with what's his name in Haitian voodoo? Papa Legba.
Papa Legba, yes.
Yeah. Papa Legba looking at you like, what you gonna do? You got a choice. And so the choice is either to rebel or abstain. And I think as someone who is actively working through this type of trauma, I have trouble differentiating between true rebellion and true freedom. Are they the same? I don't know. Because I feel like I'm constantly faced with experiences that are echoing that same sentiment, the idea of autonomy versus following the lead of that which is set before you.
Well, let's just be honest, Attila. Mm-hmm. Just say you're scared of freedom.
I'm not scared of freedom.
Then
I don't mind that.
But freedom is rebellion.
Mm-hmm. I'm totally fine with it. Completely fine with it. I think what I keep running into is that the places in which I place the most care are where that question comes up.
That's why you're not free.
So,
that's why what you are is very intelligent, and you're framing it around what I said. It is what I said. Mm-hmm. If you are free, there is the places where I care the most. Those places don't exist. You are still you, a sovereign self. And it doesn't mean you don't consider. It doesn't mean, hey, you know what? But at the end of the day, it's your life. And you're supposed to do with your life what you will, especially if that means taking it to a higher level of consciousness. If you got to consider somebody else while you're on the escalator up the levels of consciousness, what? Everybody can't go, even family.
I agree.
So are you scared of freedom or no? I did. Attila, guess what you just did?
I brought Houston in the building.
Houston, Texas in the building. When I come forward, I'm going to Mississippi, then Dallas, Texas. We got a lot to talk about still. Don't be scared. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show.
Many homeowners and businesses use man-made stone as an alternative to traditional stone for their countertops. Handling these products puts workers' lives at risk. Without proper conditions, workers could die from the terminal lung disease silicosis. Employers must supply respiratory protection and water systems. It's essential to wet stone when cutting it to prevent breathing in dust. Do away with dusty, deadly practices. Visit WorkSafeWithSilica.org.
Exactly, Kenny.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident
Viva la liberation!
7 free trees delivered right to your door.
Hey, you should have heard me and the psychic the other day speaking in the English parlance. It was funny. She heard me say, "Go, hey, can I get some water?" She was like, "Water? Water?" I said, "Water. You know what it is." Then she said it. And then we started doing the Harry Potter shit. Shit was comedy. Harry Potter. Is that you, Harry? Shit was comedy. Do you tickle your pickle? Wow.
The size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged
I didn't know
spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors.
pickles were ticklish.
Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez.
The fuck? I don't know what's going on up in the chat.
Free or low-cost arts and literacy, bilingual, intergenerational programming.
Yeah, the chat is wild.
Dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include.
Hey, for the first time in a couple weeks, let me report this. For the first time in a couple of weeks, let me report this. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all was super chatting today. We are at $101.98. I really appreciate you guys. I want to send out a heartfelt thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hitting that $sign. Thank you for showing your love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who gave the Cash App, who gave the Super Chat. I appreciate you all. Hey, my playlist is my co-host. Let me tell you something. We had to represent LA's own. Brandy, come on. Brandy been on fire the whole time since she was 14, 15, 16. Super talented actress, singer. Oh, man. And her voice has only gotten more and more beautiful as she's matured, man. I remember when that first album dropped, I think it was 94. I was in the studio down the hall from her, and we got a chance to chop it up, and it was amazing, man. We knew then we had a superstar on our hands. I was in the studio with LA rapper King T, with my homeboy James Broadway, and we were working on his album. King T for Life, and she was right up the hall working on her debut album. It was just amazing, man. And I just wanted to definitely highlight her because she's definitely the sound of Los Angeles. Let me get these callers in here right now. Nikki from the SIP, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
What is going on, fam?
Hey, hey.
So, enmeshment is in intimate relationships, like I said, that's a complete disaster. It's an example of too much of a good thing going bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, one or the other person isn't really going to show up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of gets absorbed into the stronger of the two.
Mm-hmm.
The trauma bond in enmeshment is to me a double whammy because there's a covert element that's happening. It's kind of like nutmeg and macaroni and cheese.
Keep going.
You if you don't know anything about dairy-based sauces, the nutmeg enhances the flavor of the cheese. But if you don't know that, you just know that it tastes really good over here, and this particular person's mac and cheese is great, but I don't know why. Because that nutmeg is hiding in there. And if I am disappearing into the enmeshment, to me, that's a double whammy.
You can't see it, right?
Right, and I don't understand that that's what's happening to me. So as a child, I don't know that that's happening because I'm a child until I start to get to a place where I can independently think and consider. And then if I'm an adult in a relationship that isn't well, if I am not well, the individual I am not well, but I'm in a relationship that's experiencing enmeshment, then again, I'm still in a compromised place because I'm not showing up well, and then I'm disappearing. So that's not good. That's just food for thought.
Wow.
And sort of to ride in on something from earlier in the week about sacrifice, I just want to remind people or give people something else to consider. When it's real love, like true love, there is no sacrifice involved. It's just love, and that's all.
It's just what we do.
And that's it. And I use the Big Mama as an example because most people can relate to that. Somebody that they love regardless. When you can love your intimate partner like that, there is no sacrifice involved. It's just love, that's all.
Wow.
Because you will give it, and I promise you, if you wake up in the day and that person is gone, you will give all you have to have them back.
Woo.
It won't matter.
Yeah.
The stuff, the things, the money, the whatever, it won't matter. That's what I'm saying. It's not a sacrifice in that sense. Not when it's real, for real, true love. It's not a sacrifice.
I love it.
It's not.
I love it, Nikki. Guess what you just did, sweetheart?
I'm about to sit to the building. I love everybody. Have a good weekend, everybody.
We love you, Nikki from the SIP. Let me get my final call in here. Hey, I know it's up against the clock a little bit, but Reverend L, Dallas, Texas. Your thoughts, man. Give us a little something.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. But these trauma bonds, they sneaky, bro. They real sneaky when it comes up to the unhealed person, to unhealed couples. They think that's a soul tie. That's something that's going to bring them together. They think, oh, yeah, we can do this. And, I know we got a little toxicity to them or whatever like that. But that's what's binding their souls together. Is that trauma bond. That little piece of trauma bond that they got going on is terrible. And those trauma bonds, they try to buck the system with them. So both people in a relationship, they try to out-con each other. So I know you got faults, I got faults too, but let's try to bond our faults together and make this what they call those power couples or whatever. So they just delaying the lesson, bro. Like what you said earlier, they delaying the lesson, and these people are professional runners. Professional. They would die dumb and comfortable with it. They cool with that. They cool with being ridiculous.
Cool with being ridiculous.
Cool with being ridiculous, and guess what? When that don't work out, they're gonna go find the next person, find the next situation to go deal with. They happy being uncomfortable.
Brother, Reverend, the good Reverend L. Evil is good. And if you get a piece of evil, hey man, hey brother, hey, what did you just do?
Just brought Dallas in the building. Y'all
Yes,
take it easy.
we appreciate the call. Thank you so much again. Um, man, this is heavy stuff tonight, man. Listen, it's not about being right. It's about fostering a discussion to where we go back and forth and where we probe these ideas. Krishnamurti, why is it that we are incapable of loving? What does it mean to love your fellow man? Is it a commandment, or is it a simple fact that if I do not love you and you do not love me, there can only be hate, violence, and destruction? What prevents us from seeing the very simple fact that the world is ours, that this earth is yours and mine to live upon, right? Right? Undivided by nationalities, by frontiers, to live upon happily, productively, with delight, with affection and compassion. Why is it that we do not see this? I give you lots of explanations, and you give me lots more, but mere explanations will never eradicate the fact that we do not love our neighbor. I'm just saying, I'm just saying love is rare, and love comes from within. If there are spaces in your spirit that you have yet to love, you should not have the expectation to be loved. I'm sorry. I, I'm I'm sorry to say it that way, but what do I mean by that? I mean seriously, love has to be reconciled internally. And as Nikki brought up a moment ago, you have to discover what you modeled. Not everything you modeled from your parent was loving. Some of it was hateful. Some of it was resentful. Some of it was frustration. Man, if you don't get it out your spirit, you're going to get it in your relationship. When I come forward, it'll be next week. All I got to say is we started the conversation. It's up to you to finish it. The voice of reason is about to bounce like bad checks. I'll see you Monday. Rodney Jerkins. Woo. I'm gone. Weekend. Fire week. Can't even front. This was a very dope week of shows. Very dope week of shows. Probably one of the best week of shows we've had in a really long time. Really appreciate everybody for tapping in. Tapped in. It was great. I'm gone. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Andy, once again, brother, you already know. Yes, sir. Next week. Yes,